Good morning. We are back with another marathon prep series episode. This is episode number 6 of the series, and we are 5 weeks in. After today's run, week number 5 will officially be complete. Today we have a long run on the schedule. Typical stuff, you know. If you've been here and hung out before, you know that we're pretty disciplined. We do the same thing over and over and over again. But that is what's going to make us successful whenever week 16 comes around and we are in Columbus. But if you haven't watched the last few episodes, we do have a half marathon planned. So I'm going to do a half marathon in Rockford, Illinois. Not this next video, but the video after that. So a couple videos from now, I'm going to do a half, and we're going to rip it as fast as we can. That's just going to be there to prepare for the full marathon the next 8 weeks. But since I'll be halfway through my prep and peaking again on the second 4-week phase, I'm going to give myself an opportunity to run fast. So, but nonetheless, today we're going to make some breakfast, and then I'm going to take you to a spot that I've been enjoying on my long runs. So it's 7 a.m. I'm going to eat, go run for a long time. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Right now, I would say the theme of marathon prep is sticking to the plan, even when you don't feel like it. I made a post about this on Instagram, but it couldn't be more true. I think that there are going to be times when you are tested to see how bad that you want it, and also it'll make the end result that much sweeter. This week, I don't know if I was sick or what happened, what I came down with, but there were 3 days whenever I felt like complete shit, to be very transparent with you. And I still hit every single run. I drug myself there, still did the run, still did the discovery calls for my businesses, still did the consults, the check-ins, all of it. And you have to show up. You have to. Because when you start feeling good again and you have a good workout, you will always look back and thank yourself. So if that's you, and maybe you had a week similar to that, just remind yourself of the end goal and why you're doing it. Because I promise you will thank yourself for it 8, 10, 12 weeks from now. We have a new method. If you've been here, you know we have to flip perfectly every time. And Briley actually showed me this. Would have never thought it'd work, all right? But here we are. All right, hold on. That's unreal. Come on now. So not the most ideal situation, but I'm getting my nutrition prepped for the 2 hour and 10 minute run, and I'm out of gels. So we have to pivot. This is what we're working with right now. So we have, this is going to be a scoop of Relight. So in each of those is going to be a scoop of this guy, which is 800 milligrams of sodium per scoop. And then it has coconut water powder as well, about 80 milligrams, sodium, potassium, chloride. So we're going to go 1 scoop of Relight here, 1 scoop here, and we'll drink 1 of these per hour. And then I have another scoop in here. And since the drive is a little bit longer, I'll sip on this on the way. And then the Go Bar is around 40 grams of carbohydrates. And then each of the dates, so every 2 is around 30 grams. So 30 grams, 30 grams, and then 40. And what I'm going to do is probably go the first 2 in the first 30 minutes, then the next 2 in the next 30 minutes, and the Go Bar soon after to help carry me through the rest of the time. And I've done this before, just eating foods, fueling for long runs, and it hasn't went too bad. Ideally, I do like the gels for the longer runs and the harder sessions, just because the quick digesting carbs, it's easier to eat and it goes down well. But I've also never had an issue with eating foods that digest quick as well. So we're going to give that a go. About 100 grams of carbs during, and then about 2,400 milligrams of sodium, and we'll let that rock. How do we like Briley's fit? She got new shoes. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. We got her shoe scan. Look at her. Oh.
Ready to walk.
We've been listening to Sam Barber quite a bit. He just dropped a new, I want to say it's an EP or an album, but we listened to it last night for the first time, and it's really, really good. So I don't know if you're into country music or not, but we got to see, I'll be honest, I didn't even know who Sam Barber was, and my brother had me go to a concert in, I believe it was Dallas, last year whenever we were doing the High Rocks, and saw him perform. And there's something about watching people perform live music. You can always just tell how passionate they are about their work. I think it's kind of similar to anything. Like it's like if you do content creation, like if you're an athlete and you do races, or you're an accountant, whatever. Like no matter what you do, you can tell if someone's passionate about their work. And watching him perform, I want to say it was the song Indigo that he performed with the girl that was in his band, and they were just so into the song that you could just tell that they weren't really there. It's almost like they were on a different planet performing, and from that night on, I kind of fell in love with his music. So usually for my fueling, I know we already talked about it, but usually for my fueling, if it's an hour and a half or less of a zone 2, so easy effort, I usually never do carbohydrates. I'll just do, and that's during. I do carbohydrates before. Usually around 60 grams of quick digesting carbs. But since this is over an hour and a half, 2 hours and 10 minutes, I already explained that I have 100 grams of carbs to eat. I'm going to try to do right around 40 to 50 per hour, and then sodium will be around 800 milligrams per hour, and about 16 ounces of water. So that's the plan. The hat's looking good. We have salt all over the steak. But I'm done talking. I'm gonna run down 2 hours.
You can smell for miles around. It's getting heavy in the ash is snowing softly on this town. It's getting hard to see the ground. Burns to breathe, it's hard to see. It's getting darker by the day. Try to speak, but I'm too weak from all the coughing I can take. And all that's left to do is pray. Far too wasted, hollowed out. Far too faded, talk me down. It carries through my bones, and that's something I hold close. If I start choking on my
That was a wrap on the run. And if I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I wish everyone could experience the feeling of doing a long run without headphones at least one time in their life. You're probably laughing and you would probably say I'd never do that, but if you can at some point whenever you do get into running, I think the hardest part is the first month to 2 months when you can't run in zone 2 for longer than 30 minutes without your heart rate getting into the 160s. I've been there. I started that way when I did 75 hard, but once you can get to the point where you can get past that and you can do your long runs without headphones, it's so interesting to just kind of observe what thoughts come into your head. And for some reason, for me, I was thinking about when I was like 12 or 13 years old and in 5th grade, and we had to train for the fastest mile in our class. And I remember every day I would come home. For some reason, I hit rocks with a plunger stick. So I would go to the end of our driveway and I would hit rocks with a plunger stick, and then I would run a mile. For some reason, I thought that was going to make me like an elite athlete. But I would run that mile as fast as I could, and my mom and she drove in the car with a meter, and she would measure how far half a mile was from our house, and I would run to that marker and back, and I would time it every day and see if I could get faster. And now being 25, I was thinking about how I run, and I would have never thought long distance running would have been something that I would have been into. But I don't think it's as much as doing the races and like the marathons and the preps. I think for me it's more so being able to see that time, just like when I was 12 or 13, see it get lower every time and see my heart rate get lower with every long run, and just know that I'm becoming a fitter version of myself than I was last time. I think that's the most fun part of it, and I really, really wish everyone could experience that at one point in their life. But nonetheless, I'm thankful to be able to do things like that, and that's a wrap on week number 5 for Columbus Marathon Prep. That's it. I think we finished at 56 miles this week. Next week, hopefully we push into the 60s, and we just keep getting better. But I'm gonna go ahead and drink some water, and then we're gonna drive back. And we have some more filming to do. Riley's gonna help me film some workouts for a new female client that we're bringing on, and we're gonna be spending a lot of time at the gym. And also, I think that it's so cool that that's work for my life. This is considered work technically, but I love it, and I wouldn't ask for anything different. So, beautiful Saturday. Long run's done. We will see you guys a little bit later, I guess. My brain's a little loopy, so I don't know if that made sense, but all right. Everybody say thank you to Bradley. She filmed the whole time.
Yeah.
How cool is that? She just came out here and filmed the whole thing. I came back on one of the times when I was coming back to get fuel, and Bradley was out there running. My first thought when I came back to the car, I was like, how am I gonna get in there? And then I see Bradley just,
I'm coming.
you got her a mile in.
When I was walking, I was thinking.
We are back at the apartment, and this is what lunch is looking like. What do you got, Bradley? Ooh.
I got a salad with some chicken.
All right, so you probably remember me talking about I only eat a certain amount of carbs because it's steady state cardio, it's zone 2 cardio. The intensity of my run and how long it is going to affect how many carbohydrates I eat while I train. So for me, I always like to get a full meal in about 3 to 3.5 hours before my run. And then if it's a long run, like you just saw, I did 30 grams of carbs about 30 minutes before the run. But this chart, and I'll pop it up on the screen here. So it shows from intensity being very easy to intensity being very hard, and then your time from less than 30 minutes all the way up to more than 4 hours. So if you can see on this chart here, mine was a little bit above 2 hours, but I'm just going to say it was at 2 hours, and it's in that yellow there, and that would be considered easy. So I would need 30 grams of carbohydrates per hour of exercise. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up only doing 2 of the dates and then 1 go bar. So that was around 70 grams of carbs. So about 35 grams total per hour for me. And then before, like I said, I like to have a full meal way ahead of time before I run. So my routine is usually full meal, and then I run 3 hours later after I get some work done in the morning. Now, if that's not the case, and let's say you run right when you get up because you have to run right before you head to work, I used to have to do the same thing. So if you have to run at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., things like that, that's whenever the quick digesting carbs ahead of time work really well. So things like G1M, anything with cholesterol as a carb source, or anything that has a carb source of a 2-to-1 ratio, a lot of times are going to be a good choice there. But usually then, if it's around 45 minutes or less, I'll just get about 40 grams of quick digesting carbs if I have to eat right before. Now, if you have time, you can get the meal in, but usually that's going to get you to where you need to be. Now, the more intense the session is, I do want to point this out here. So anything that's in the red, 60 grams of carbohydrates. So if you had a workout, let's say that was 2 hours long and it was hard. So this would be something like a tempo session where you're holding marathon paces for 2 hours, whatever it may be. That's when you're going to get up to the 60 grams of carbohydrates per hour. Now, race scenarios, you can see on this chart in the very top right, 90 grams plus per hour. That's what I'm going to be doing whenever the marathon comes around, or the half marathon. So 90 grams plus is going to be the goal. And right now, the long runs are just easy, steady state zone 2. So as I get further into the prep, so the last 8 weeks, a lot of the long runs have marathon pace efforts built into them. On those runs, I'm going to practice nutrition around this. So I'll get around 60 to 90 grams per hour. And that's when I'm going to do the heavy hitting gels, like the Morton gels, things of that nature, to get more carbohydrates in easily without all the fiber that obviously comes with the dates and the go bar and things like that. But nonetheless, I hope this chart helps you and kind of helps you understand when you need carbs during your runs and when you don't. Obviously, always fuel before. I always do carbohydrates before, no matter what it is, and electrolytes. But how many you need during can always be a little bit tough. And don't forget that the weather is going to play into this. So if it's really hot outside, really humid, it is going to make the workout a little bit harder, a little bit more intense. But I hope this helps you as much as it did me. And I am going to leave a link to this guy's Instagram profile on here because I think he gives a lot of really good advice. So hopefully that helps you. Off topic, but do y'all ever eat something so good? So I just ate this. It was a peach. Well, it's gone. It's a peach. Y'all ever eat something so good and it buzzes like the top of your head? Riley looked at me like I was dumb when I said it. Get this little feeling up here. It gets to tingling because it's so good. Riley said she said that that's not a thing for her. Maybe it's just me, man. All right, we are back in the office. Got a little snack rock in here, a little macro bar, apple. And I'm probably going to, outside of the gym, spend the rest of my day in here. This is actually how the office setup is looking right now since I last showed you guys. But we moved things around a little bit. Works out a lot better. And we got the desk over this way. But I know at this point I have usually on average a few hundred people that are watching these. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate anyone that's reached out about the videos or said that it's helped them in any way. Whether that's me sharing what type of yogurt I eat, sharing going through maybe like a tougher phase in marathon prep or in life in general. And just kind of relating with the phase of life that you're in, or if I have helped you when it comes to training or anything around training, truthfully. Because my reasoning for starting this, and obviously like building anything takes time, dude. So if it's YouTube, Instagram, a business, anything, it takes time. And I think that you have to build it the right way from the ground up. And that's why that you don't see any crazy fancy edits on these videos. If Jake ever does help me out, they look a little bit better. But it's super simple cuts, and I make them just to make you feel like you're hanging out with me, and you get to hear what thoughts just come kind of straight off the dome. And they're as transparent as possible, and that's how I always want them to be, no matter where this ends up going. But we're gonna keep building this thing one at a time. So if you have a friend or anybody that you know that would want to be a part of the community and support the videos, and could get something from it, I appreciate whenever you send it to one of the buddies, or when you can throw a subscribe. I do appreciate that. It goes a long way. So once again, we're gonna close this one out. This is gonna be the end of the video for this segment of Marathon Prep series. And I will see you guys in the next one. The plan on the next one is to do the VO2 max test. I know it had to get rescheduled. Should have been this one, but I hope you guys enjoyed the long run. I hope I was able to teach you something around eating your carbs around your long run, and you took something from the video. But without further ado, see you guys on the next one.